Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish out there. It's not our fault. Blame the coal. It's the political cowards when it comes to gas. Our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin pumping, altcoins pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
Another boring day in markets. A day after Bitcoin breaks beyond that mega pump gateway, gets above $112,000. It bull flags at $115,000 to $117,000 and pumped up to as high as almost $19,000, while ETH is sitting there tickling right at that $3,000 mark. Link is on a multi-year, like 4 or 5 year resistance trend line, looking like it wants to break out. BitTensor TAO is on the cusp. Across the board, we are seeing monster gains. The question is, have you been stacking before this move? Or are you waiting to buy the hype only to get dropped on again and sell at a loss? Because we have been stacking in here at the BitLab Academy, at Discover Crypto, at Blockchain Basement, in the Discover Investments Group Discord, which the link is down below in the description of this video. It's also pinned in the top of the live chat. But we're seeing, look at that, BitTensor TAO's back up to right near $400. Solana seeing movement. XRP is making some waves to the upside. Man, it feels good to see these markets absolutely wrecking shop to the upside, and we're seeing it sort of almost entirely across the board. XLM up 30%, Cardano up 21%, SEI up 22%. We got Athena up 19%, Algorand 20%, Radium up 17%, and the market is ripping to the upside. And some of you were just, not sure, you're waiting, and maybe you even bought some of the top of this pump. As long as you have the endurance to hold, I think we've got a lot higher to go, because we're seeing some monstrous moves in this market. In fact, we see the market cap sitting here at $3.67 trillion. And this is important because when we look at this, I want you to notice something. We have not hit an all-time high yet. We have not hit an all-time high yet on the total crypto market cap. A lot of the alts have fallen a long way down while Bitcoin has been pushing higher. There has been capital focus in the Bitcoin ecosystem. In fact, I'm wearing that magic math on my shirt right now. But what we want to look for is just this tap up here above $3.72 trillion. And currently we're sitting at about 3.69, right on the cusp, showing that there's been a lot of movement in the market, not just with Bitcoin, because look, Bitcoin's up 5% overnight, where we're seeing a lot of these altcoins making major gains. We have got an incredible rest of the summer to brew, and the green is here. The markets are ripping. We're seeing signs and signals that are suggesting not just price point, but signs and signals that are flashing. Real data, when you aggregate it, is suggesting so much higher to go. So everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and somehow I think about 50% of you all that watch on a daily basis have not subscribed. Maybe you don't even realize it. I'm asking each and every one of you, if you're tuned in right now, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Rumble, whether you're on X, this is multi-streaming across 3 different platforms. Look down below this video and make sure you are subscribed and turn on notifications. If you're on Rumble, make sure you're following. If you're on X, make sure you're following the @Kellam account or the @Academy BitLab account, because we are bringing you data. We have been making some calls over the last 2 years that have been absolutely right on track to keep people on the right side of the trend. Do we hedge ourselves sometimes? Absolutely. Do we make sure we risk mitigate? Even though we're bullish, we look at downside targets? Yes. But I have been overwhelmingly suggesting what my sort of opinion is about what direction the market was going to break to. And let me ask you all this. About 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, I called out specifically, not a roundabout, not just a random assumption of a wide range of date. I called out, I think the market's going to push up into July 10th and July 11th. And what happened when we look at these charts? Golly, holy moly, could that not have been a better call? Because when we look at this on the daily, look at what's going on here as this loads up. We see this. What is the 10th? This is the 9th right here. This is the 10th. This is the 11th. The exact dates that I called out. And this is incredible because it's not like this is a one-time thing. We have been making astonishingly, super accurate calls on this channel for the better part of the last year or two. And in fact, where is the other chart I have? I highlighted the exact zone over this right here. This box was highlighting back here where I thought the price action was going to break to the upside. And look at this bottoming into this and then literally breaking out across this and moonshotting after this. I got to give myself a pat on the back because it's not going to be every call and it's not going to be 100% of the time, but it has been an overwhelming amount of accuracy about the direction of this market on the midterm and macro directions of the price action going on, especially with Bitcoin. And we are yet again seeing it. And I think we've got so much higher to go. We got 1,000 people in the room right now. We've got $117,500 Bitcoin. We got Ethereum sitting here tickling right at that $3,000 gateway. In fact, I was on a Spaces last night with Crypto Face on the Mario Nafal channel talking about these new highs. And he's been very regularly somewhat, I don't want to say bearish, but very metered and hesitant about Ethereum, about altcoins. And he specifically said, he goes, you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this. It's looking like Ethereum's going to revisit 4,000 and likely beyond. And if that is to happen, if Ethereum breaks free from the shackles that it is in right here, which this is a starting point, 2,852. I even highlighted this again yesterday, and I've been highlighting this since all the way back here in February, that once we basically regain control above this, this is going to be the gateway to these next stages higher. And then the real juice in this market is going to be this move from Ethereum from here up to 3,900. And then once we break free of the all-time high that we previously had up here in the $4,200 range, we are going to see an absolute blast off and we're going to be seeing it along the way. But this is when we're going to be seeing the rocket ships across the board within the altcoin market. So hallelujah to each and every single one of you that's been stacking, that's been patient, that's been frustrated, that's questioned yourself. This time is different. However, it's all playing out the same, just on a stretched out time basis. So let's dive into this data. We got a lot of people in the room. Big love to each and every one of you. About 1,400 people in the room right now. We've got the signals. We've been laying it out for you. We've been making the calls. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I told you, let's watch for after July 4th. Let's watch for July 10th and July 11th is when I think the market's going to explode to the upside. And it was a number of reasons that I highlighted for that in the charts, in the data, in the on-chain, all the things I was seeing. And now what do we see? It is July 11th. And what did we see yesterday, which was July 10th? We saw the market absolutely rip moonshot to the upside. This is July 10th right here. Look at where we're moving up into. We've got so much higher to go, but does it mean up only from here? Maybe if you zoom out on a midterm macro scale, but all of us are locked in on the 4-hour charts, the 1-hour charts, even the 15-minute charts. There's going to be some chop along the way, which means it's going to provide ultimate frustration for people that don't have strategy, but it's going to provide ultimate opportunity for those of you that are paying attention. So let's get into it. We have got about 1,600 people in the room now across all the platforms. As you roll in here, welcome to the show. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. My name's Kellam, and I'm here with BitLab Academy, helping you look at the data to make the smart decisions to navigate this market. You have to make all the decisions. I'm going to provide you all the tools. Shout out to all of our channel partners, Bitcoin IRA, and of course, getarculus.com. Use code BitLab20 for 20% off over at Arculus so you can protect your crypto, so you can secure your future. Let's get into it because we've got some monstrous data that we have got to cover today. Because what do we know? We just entered what I can see in on-chain data, but also in just the general capital flow data of this market, that we have entered this parabola zone. And what I'm talking about is right here. When you look at this in all of the previous cycles, we have had this move up, this metric on the bottom. When you get this impulse of capital flowing, money flowing into the asset, pulls back, pushes back up. We get sort of a double top here, pulls back up, and then we get this mass expansion. So what we get back here in 2017, a very large push up in capital, comes back, resets at zero. A secondary push up in capital, meaning money flowing in, watering the grass so the trees can grow, baby. And what we see, the price action, the capital kind of it pulled out of the market, and then we got the expansion. And then we even saw it here twice in the last cycle. We saw it once right here before this intermediary bull market pullback. But look at this, double top pullback, and this also shot up. But here we go again, right after the COVID crash, double top pullback expansion. So what are we seeing now in this cycle? And I pointed this out almost a year ago looking at this. And this is, we've got the double top here, this double pump, bump and run. So here's the double pump. And here's the bump, and then we are entering this parabolic zone as it looks like we have seen in all previous cycles going into the parabolic up phase. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribing because we're sharing the data with you beyond just being enamored by price, hope, and fear. Let's look at the data so it can give us indication about what is most likely to come based on the ingredients, not on the emotions of the moment. And we're seeing this. Bitcoin just entered the parabolic run phase. Bitcoin is repeating this capital flow pattern we have seen in all cycles. The double pump in early bull phase, boom, 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 boom. Also back here, boom, boom. And then after a reset back down, as you see the reset, and again, reset, then you get, these are the shakeouts, then you get that run, the run follows, and this is what is lining up. So let's make sure we are strapped in and locking in because we are looking to attack these zones up here, somewhere between $158,000 and $365,000. Hell, we could go beyond this, but I think that is just a whole confluence of events that we can't bet on. We can look at these targets. The lower targets being the most likely. That's why I say likely target. But I realistically can see us up here in that $200,000 range, 200 to 270. And then of course we have this, if everything goes according to plan and every bit of capital, from the government, from the strategic Bitcoin reserves, so on and so forth, just keeps flowing in and getting stronger, and money printing and Fed interest rate cuts, blah. But this is what we're looking at up here. And of course I posted this on July 10th, but wait, did I? No, I actually posted this on, look at this, June 12th. This is when we are kind of butting our heads up against this, that mega pump gateway that we've been talking about, and we have broken through this. So let's go back on this here. Oops, right here. Let's go back on this. Here we go. And why do I think it's going higher? Well, higher and longer market cycles. I very much think this is going to be the case. We've got Fed rate cuts coming up, maybe in July at the end of this month with the next FOMC, but most definitely it's getting more and more likely in September and then throughout the rest of the year into 2026. We've got the massive bill that just passed. We've got 2 or 3 more bills on the horizon. We have all of these different things that are indicating more money printing, which is terrible unless you are invested, especially invested in Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you why Bitcoin knocks every other investment out of the park, even S&P 500. So we have also this going on next year. We also have the global Bitcoin and crypto awareness that is just exploding at an overwhelmingly rapid rate. And then of course, the corporation race to stack that's happening right now. These targets up here are going to be here before we know it. And we're getting frustrated, in the zone when we've just broken out of it. So let's get excited. We got 1,700 people in the room. Every single one of you, I want to see a GM, and I want to see what city you are tuned in from and what the best performing asset in your portfolio is. Don't tell us the amount, but say which coin is the best performing. So for my case, it would be GM, Atlanta, Dog. That's what I would put in, because dog is the best performing asset that I have over in the last 24 hours. But we're also seeing Aerodrome making massive moves to the upside. BitTensor, TAO, Link. We're seeing the market explode. So shout out to each and every one of you. We got Alexander G with the super chat, says hype. Let's go. And I also want to shout out, I got a goal set. I'm going to start doing my giveaways here. We're going to do a $100 value giveaway on the show. And we can draw at the end of the show if we get it, and we just need 10. We either need 10 members, 10 new member signups, or 10 super chats, or a combination of 5 and 5. If we get that mark, I will do a $100 value giveaway, and we will draw here on the show. Let me, Alexander G, I'm asking for a number, a random number. Where's my pen? Give me a random number, and we will, we'll draw based on that random number. I'll be looking for that in the side here. But big love to each and every one of you. I want to see some more people on X that are watching. Get involved in the live chat. I want to see some people on Rumble that are watching. Get involved in the live chat. I see it all. It's right here. So big love to each and every one of you. Guys, I am so hyped because we have been in this market for some time, and to see it making these strides is overwhelmingly exciting, especially knowing that there's so much more to come onto the upside. So let's get into it. We've talked about the capital flow, but we got to talk about this. There's still a hell of a lot of people that were betting this is the top. We've got more bullish news than we've ever gotten ever. And this is the top, guys. 112 was the top. This is the stupidest shit I've seen ever in this asset class, especially considering everything that's laid out that's indicated higher prices. And what do you see? Holy yes, this is the biggest Bitcoin shorts liquidation event in years. And unfortunately, we got a lot of people because of this, and we can see the shorts here getting liquidated. And what do we see? We're seeing the bears just absolutely either licking their wounds or making excuses. Do not be in the position where you need to lick your wounds or make excuses. The data is there. It has screamed higher. The market has done everything it can to shake your butt out into emotional, stupid trading. Yet the data has said higher. I don't care what this narrative is. Higher is in the cards. So let's get into it. Okay, we got number 17. 17, let me write this over here just so I have it written down. Cool, boom. Now, if we get to 10 super chats or 10 new members here on the BitLab YouTube, or a combination of the two that reaches 10, we'll do a $100 giveaway. Now, continuing on, what else we got? We got some massive stuff going on. Let me minimize that. Okay, I shared this yesterday, and I've been talking about this for years. Now, what is this? The global liquidity has always, before massive moves to the upside, when you get a surge in liquidity, look at this. This was down, and it started ticking up. This was the predecessor, the front running to the massive move to the upside. It happened here again, where you had the move to the upside. It moved up right in the middle of this, right before this move. Okay, massive surge in liquidity. Front ran the absolute monstrous parabolic move. Happened here also, signaled the bottom of the market before the bullish explosion happened. And then, of course, this has just been racing to the upside with global liquidity, with only indications that more global liquidity printing is coming. This is one of those monstrous reasons why higher is more likely than not. Now, although we're betting on higher in this market, does that mean we can't have a swing down to 105? Does that mean we can't get a swing down below 100? We could still get that, which would wreck so many people, but the market could still absolutely persist beyond that. The world's waking up to Bitcoin. The governments are waking up to Bitcoin. Corporations have woken up to Bitcoin, and it's just going like a domino effect. The mass populace of the world is starting to, it's only about 4, 5, 6% of the world's population is even aware in a way that they're actually starting to invest in Bitcoin. Higher is coming, regardless of if you believe it or not. So I'm stacking. I don't know what you're doing. I'm doing everything I can to be a good ancestor to my lineage beyond me, because this market is only going higher on the macro. So shout out. We got good morning from Redondo Beach, says Rick Claspy. Hey, this is it. Don't get scared now, says Clever Culture. We got, the homies are in here right now. Ugin Sky with the $2 super chat says, pump it. Let's go. Dylan K, how you doing? Granny's Garden, how you doing? Peter John Lurum. We got Taco Fisher Lives, Meek Vision, Kinetic Pixels. Man, we got the homies in the house. Lewis Dog, that's right, baby. We got Ardio Lavord, GM from Chicago, and says Cardano. We're going to be looking at Cardano here in a couple minutes. We got Julie Kenneth says, good GM LA, dog for the win. That's right. We got that guy, GM Calgary, Morpho. Hey, you know what? Morpho is one of those bangers. GM Dallas, SUI and AERO, says Senza. We got Brillo from Massachusetts, Dubuque. Dubuque. I don't know. Is that like Albuquerque or is Dubuque? Where's that at? Let me know where that's at, Stevie Crypto. Yeah, shout out. And of course, Peter John Lurum says Seoul and Las Vegas. Okay, let's get into it. We got a couple more charts that are screaming for the price to push higher. So we're going to look at these and then we're going to do some TA on some of these coins and look at some of these targets. All right, we got another super chat from Ugin Sky says, send it. Keep it going. Keep it flowing, baby. Let's get it and hit those like buttons. Then we also got this chart I shared yesterday right here. People were wondering, is up still possible? When you look at the previous cycles and you overlay the last two cycles with the current cycle being the price of Bitcoin in pink. This is measured from the market cycle low, not from the halving, not from some arbitrary numbers, from where the market cycle low was of all three cycles, the lowest price point, and then projecting this out and how this has traveled. And this is, look, perfect median of the road. We had a deviation up. Now we have a deviation down. But either way, both previous cycles just absolutely arced to the upside. In case of last cycle, we arced up early, came back down, and then had the all-time high over here on the secondary top. In 2017, this just slow burn to the upside. And I think we're going to get that as well. I do think we're about to see an acceleration of bullish price action to the upside. So let's make sure we are stacked because it is Bitcoin boom season. The data has said it. The price is starting to reflect it. We're not following the price. We're following the data so that we can capture the best prices on both buying the fear and selling the hype. That's what we want to do to absolutely rip it here. We got another one from Mugen Sky, says LFG, of course. And that guy says, good morning, one of the lab rats. One and all lab rats. Thank you, Kelly, for being awesome. Stack Sats, baby. Shout out to you. Big love to you, my friend. Now let's get into a bit more. We got 2,138 people watching right now. Big love to each and every one of you. It is July 11th, 2025. It is the day after the July 10th, July 11th, the days I said a few weeks ago. I said, watch these dates for a likely move to the upside. And these are, I mean, a little bit of luck. The price actually broke out on the 10th and now is pushing higher on the 11th. But can it go higher? Well, let's look at some more data. We see this from Urian Timmer says, Bitcoin has been benefiting from both a rising global money supply, which is that global liquidity I've shown you, and a rally in risk assets. This means the uncertain, I'm not sure what's going to happen. There's been a jockeying back and forth of tariffs, no tariffs, geopolitics and war and conflict. But now a lot of things are starting to simmer down now, okay? But we also got money printing and certainty coming back to markets, which is why you're seeing the rally in risk assets. A win-win for the markets. And what we're seeing here, much like right in here, where this is both purple and yellow, both ticking to the upside, boom, moving to the upside. Well, we saw this also take place here where the purple is up and then also this the sort of tan color started ticking up as well. And this also is right in line with where we got a nice parabolic move to the upside. We also saw it right in here. In this case, the tan was up first and then the purple. But it's when both of these are here is when you're starting to see aggressive moves. And we've got the setup. So let's make sure we can ride the setup. Because this is at the same time we are seeing the US dollar at an all-time low in value against Bitcoin. The dollar is bleeding, and yet some people say, but Bitcoin is printed out of nothing. What in the mother living F are you talking about? The dollar is printed from nothing, and the Bitcoin, the asset is printed from proof of work. And it is consensus across hundreds of thousands of computers that are all agreeing on every transaction that has ever happened. Yes, this block of the 10 new transactions, but it's also printed on a blockchain that includes every transaction that's ever happened. So every computer on that network, every node, every miner all has to say, yes, everything is accurate. Bitcoin gets audited every 10 minutes and has a fixed cap of only 21 million Bitcoin. The world is waking up to this. This is why this asset class has performed so exponentially. And even at $117,000, $118,000, this is just the start. Buying here is going to be like buying Bitcoin when it hit 1,000. It's going to be like buying Bitcoin when it hit 100. People didn't believe it, and yet it just persisted higher. That's what happened when you have an asset weighed against an infinite supply, which is $1, and the asset that you're selling the dollar for, Bitcoin, has a fixed cap with a reduction of inflation by half every 4 years. It is the pinnacle asset of humanity. And this is what we need to make sure, because this is it. If you can't understand Bitcoin's rise in value, maybe you can understand the overwhelming destruction of the US dollar, which in the buying power, which just hit an all-time low against Bitcoin. Stack Bitcoin, save your future. Bitcoin will never be as cheap as it is right now again. So we can see this on this chart. The buying power of the dollar against Bitcoin. US dollar just hit an all-time low. Now we got the breakout, but we got to be a little bit cautious here. We got a couple more super chats from Ugin Sky says smash. We also got Alexander G. You rule. We're getting up there. Big love to all of you. I appreciate you. But we got from Caleb Franzen. I was on a space with him last night as well. Make sure you're following this cat. He's got incredible information. He and I have been doing stuff since he was at about 1,000 followers. And I'd love to be able to bring him into the media. And he is just absolutely running with it. He's got such great data on the markets. But he shows this beautiful inverted head and shoulders. See, shoulder, head, shoulder. We do have the breakout. What you normally see in breakouts, and this is true right now if you're watching Bitcoin at $117,000, or if you're watching any other asset, when you have a breakout of a major trend line, such as this resistance where it resisted, broke, resisted, broke, resisted. Now this actually broke through. You tend to get a confirmation. Okay, we broke through. Let's shake out the over bullish, come back, make people sort of bear trap. This is called a breakout confirmation. Breakout, the retrace back to the scene of the crime. Boom, we broke this resistance. Make sure the bulls defend this area, and then you have confirmation to the upside. So if you miss this move on a short-term trade, that's okay. Wait for where you see either a bull flag set up for a breakout higher or a potential breakout retrace continuation. This is normal behavior. So let's pay attention to this if this were to occur, okay? This is very much in the cards. If it happens, it wouldn't be out of context. Now, the question is, with the overwhelming printing of dollars, do you want to have every hour you've worked get destroyed in value? Meaning you save from the money that you're getting paid in dollars, or maybe you're making an investment because you're smart and you're holding it in the S&P 500. Well, in one case, if you're holding it just in dollars in the bank, you're losing. The dollar has lost about 80 or 90% of its value in the last 40, 50 years because of money printing. So they say invest. Well, cool. If that metric is true, what does it look like against Bitcoin? Because in this case, S&P 500 in Bitcoin terms is now down 15% year to date. But is that it? That's not too bad. Well, since 2012, S&P 500 in Bitcoin terms is down 99%. So yes, investing is important, but also make sure if you're not all in on Bitcoin, that's okay. Have a basket of investments, but do realize that you're seeing the same thing play out with Bitcoin versus S&P 500 as you are seeing any investment compared to the dollar. The dollar's losing purchasing power, so you need to invest. But at the same time, the S&P 500 is losing value against Bitcoin. So you just need to make sure that. Make sure that you're paying attention to these data. Now, when we're looking at all this, we want to talk about altcoins too, right? Are altcoins going to get their day in the sun, or is it just Bitcoin season and Bitcoin treasury companies and all of our alts are dead? Well, let's look at the data. The tokenization narrative is much larger than Bitcoin. This is from Matthew Hyland here. It's only a matter of time for dominance, he's saying, and this is what he's talking about here is a move down. This move down is exactly what we want to see if we're expecting altcoins to explode. Now, are we going to get all the way down here into the mid low 40s%? I don't know. But I actually added on this. I said, altcoins will have their day in the sun. They will. 100% they will. I guarantee it. The problem is it doesn't mean every altcoin. It's not going to be like alt seasons past before we had the meme coin explosion and before we've had hundreds of thousands of coins and millions of meme coins. Not everything will move this alt season like we've seen in the past, particularly strong narrative coins driving real utility that also capture legacy focus are the coins that are going to do well. RWAs like Ondo, like Link, like Solana, like Avalanche, like Cardano, like Ethereum, which all of those also are tied into the ability for stablecoins as well, and U.S. treasuries and real estate. There's so much that goes into this that attaches itself to corporate interest and funding as well as retail. But then, of course, AI is a major player of this as well, and infrastructure. And funnily enough, the things that do RWA are also very highly tied into the infrastructure narrative, the rails of the future that everything in legacy is going to eventually evolve onto and upgrade to be integrated onto blockchain. So this is where we're going to see altcoins absolutely rip to the upside. Not sure how low Bitcoin dominance will fall, but I do believe it will be soon. Now, this is what we're seeing. Check it out. Bitcoin just pumped massively overnight, ran up to almost $119,000. And what we see is the Bitcoin dominance closes red on the day of a massive move. This is good. Bitcoin pumping massively, and yet the dominance is falling. This means that as Bitcoin is pumping, we're starting to get that go ahead, go run signal for the altcoins. Bitcoin pumping, but this indicates a major sector of the alt market was moving at a higher rate to the upside in market value than Bitcoin was. Now, Bitcoin's strongest US dollar move comes when dominance crashes. This is very healthy and a sign Bitcoin perhaps about to enter its strongest move of the cycle. But this also means that your alts are very likely setting up to make some life-changing wealth if you're stacked correctly and if you know how to buy the fear, hold through the move, and take profits along the way when everybody else is getting euphoric. Can you do that? Make sure you're tuned here. We're going to try to make sure you stay on the right side of this because this is what we're seeing. This is Bitcoin's pump. Look at this. This is a move all the way up here to $46,000. A sell-off all the way down to 37. Oh my God, 38, 37. And then nice, beautiful spring launch to the upside. Well, what do we see on Ethereum? Right here. Oh my God, look at this. This looks almost identical. Are we on the cusp? Because we've got the breakout. Is this about to have this continuation of moonshot to the upside? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think ETH is going to get this move and break up here, consolidate around 3,800 and then break free into new all-time highs, price discovery beyond $4,200? Let me know your thoughts. I'm curious to see what you think because the setup looks perfect and we just got a full moon at the same time. So let's make sure we're paying attention to that. But here we go. Cardano also waking up. Charles Hoskinson just did a monster interview talking about all kinds of things, but also highlighting a lot of things going on with Cardano, things going on with Midnight, things going on with some of the upgrades and interoperability and Bitcoin and so many things going on. But when you just look at the chart, this is from Jesse Olson. Make sure you're giving him a follow too, at Jesse Olson, Olson. We see this sort of consolidated move to the downside with a beautiful rounding bottom here, now breaking out of this downtrend, this shorter term downtrend, and the targets hit the first target. And Jesse's targets tend to be pretty damn accurate. Looking at this move, higher and higher and higher up here, even above $1. So let's dive into it, guys. What do the charts look like? Let's go ahead. Why is this? Okay, there we go. This on the monthly, I've been talking about this about once a week. The liquidity that we saw when the price was like this, the liquidity that we saw when the price was, moving to the downside, we had all of this liquidity above us. And I told you, it's like a magnet. The moth usually goes to the brightest light. We saw that. And what happened? I mean, price action absolutely sliced through this. We got some forced closures, the largest shorts we've seen in years, meaning the short liquidations, they're forced to close or get liquidated, which is a forced buy. So you get this pop up, but the bulls defended this immediately and this just started moving up. And this has to do with a couple of things. There's clarity coming into the tariffs. We're going into crypto week next week. They're going to be working on a number of bills. We've got positive discourse in our elected body, just speaking, just trying to figure out to get the most empowering and effective regulations in place and clear out all the nonsense that's been putting its foot on the throat of this industry. Let me just scroll down here. I want to make sure I didn't miss any. Yeah, cool. But this is looking good. Yes, we got a node all the way down here at 106,000. Are we going to get a move all the way down there? I don't know. But it's feeling more bullish than not. Let's go down to the 48 hours. Okay, 48 hours. We got a lot of liquidity below us now. It's kind of just popping up here in spurts, coming all the way down here into the $110,000, $111,000 range. What does it look like on the 12-hour? Okay, look at this 12-hour. We got this sort of trap zone. This kind of shows, in a way, that I don't want to say trapping price. There's a bit of a split in ideas about where the price is going to go, but this is good because we've got a lot of liquidity interest directly below us here in the 116 all the way down to like low 116s and above us up here into the 119s. So I mean, even if we swing to the downside here, we're going to get more and more bullish outlook here based on the way the entire landscape is looking for what's going on in digital assets. So let's get into it. What are we seeing? I mean, look at this, absolute incredible breakout, retest forms a bit of a flag here. Now look at this, bull flag. Now we have a bit of a bull flag here. I mean, if I had to look at this, let's go boom, option F, bottom to top. Okay, we got a 382 fib right here at 114.6. If we can also do one more here just to see if there's any sort of confluence. Yeah. Okay. Let it load. All right. So on the 1 hour chart gives us a little bit more clarity because you see here on the 4 hour, these are called inefficiencies. When you see big candles here, that doesn't give you any signal. It's hard to see where there was price interactivity of little, small little jagged moves in the market. So when you get down to the 1 hour, what I mean by that is when you look at the 1 hour, what do you see? You see this, you got a zone right there. You see this right here. You got a zone right here, exactly where we're at, where this sort of price rejected. And this is kind of where, if this is lost, I'm thinking we're going down to 115 and likely coming down here into this 113, because this is a golden pocket of this move here, right into the zone, which also has to be where this previous price action top is. Now, this doesn't mean the move's over. What we normally see in any asset ever is you get a rise, retrace, continuation. Everybody tries to guess as to what this retrace is, where this reversal is, so they can capture the max point of this move. Unfortunately, most people mess this up. They buy and it drops and they sell or get liquidated because they're over leveraged. So let's not do that. Let's wait for some signal. And instead of trying to buy this exact bottom, if you're trying to get another move, or maybe you missed the move entirely, instead of trying to capture this, wait for this to actually start to make this move up and buy about right there, because then you can, at this point, you can buy with looking at the money flow ticking up. You can see the RSI ticking up. You can see the data that you want to that is signaling that this was a bottom. This is more likely to take that move. Now, just general sort of simple information there. But let's get into some of these other things that are going on, because remember, we've talked about the upward targets on this price action. We got 2,529 people in the room right now. Big love to each and every one of you. Smash those likes. Let's set some records. If you're happy the price is pushing up, hit the like button. If you've been making some profits, hit the like button. If you just got into crypto in the last couple weeks or months and you're here before 8 billion people, hit the like button, show some love, get some engagement flowing on this thing right now. We got we got the people in the vibes right now. But I want to go through some of these altcoins as well, because Chainlink, by the way, Chainlink on a 3-day chart, zoomed out, look at this right here. This is an incredible spot for Chainlink right here at a point that is on a multi-year resistance trend line. This multi-year resistance trend line, if we were to zoom out on this, goes all the way back here to May of 2021, the top highest point of Chainlink's price action. And this has been, look, from here to here, this was March of 2024. And then we did get the deviation above it, but look, it bounced right on this line, further confirming this line is valid. held here again, then broke down and rejected again. We're right at that same zone. But what do we also see? We see something absolutely gorgeous if you're a bull here. And that is one, we're reattacking this trend line. It's also a horizontal resistance and support that we see with this orange box that we have. But in addition to that, we've got a beautiful W formation, a double bottom formation. If this can break out of this and clear this zone right here, about $18, we're going to be testing up here into the 21-22s, maybe likely pullback and then breakout, retest, launch. So what does the data say? Price looks good. Let's double click, bring up the data on the weekly. Money flow has gone way down, but the money flow not only has gone way down, we're coming back to attack this zero line. The RSI also has a W formation right here. It's trying to break past the 50 line. If the money flow breaks positive and the RSI on the weekly is pushing up into this upper 50%, this is when you're in bull territory. This is when you're in bearish weakness, okay? Above the 50% line, especially on the weekly. Money flow looks like it's attacking it. What does it look like on the daily? On the daily, we got money flow has broken back positive, looking good. RSI, look, broken back above the 50 line. It's looking really strong. It doesn't mean it's ready to immediately go right now, but we're getting the ingredients we want to see if we get some continuation in this bullishness, this risk in this market. If we get a little bit of a bull flag here, whatever, let's go like this. If we get a little bit of a bull flag here, or even a small retrace into this zone right here, into the 13, low 14s, I would say low 14s, this would be great, boom, and then the move out. But we're getting the setup that we want to see if we're expecting these moves to play out. This is what I like to see. But we also got another one. BitTensor TAO is right on the cusp of graces. We are on the edge of glory. That's right, girls. What do we see? We are just chopping in this zone. Cool. But look, it's right up at the upper bound of this descending broadening wedge. So what does it look like zoomed in? Let's get back over to BitTensor. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. Look where the money flow flipped positive right here. Money flow flipped positive, but the price was kind of pulling down. Well, money flow, maybe you're a little worried there, but boom, we had the money flow dip negative again. It came right back positive right here. Cool. So now we have pretty large pull outs, money coming out of the asset. But now look, it pushed up, came down, very tiny blip here, and the RSI at this zone right here flipped back above this zero line, this 50 line right here. Okay. And money flow positive. And look, this signaled this whole move right here. Maybe you're a little worried right here, but the money flow is just pushing up into that. This means the engine is getting revved. Do you think the car is going to stay still if the engine's getting revved? Okay. That's what we're seeing. And we got the breakout. Now, what we get, the breakout went where? Now, remember, I did not draw this today. We drew this a few days ago. That we're looking for a potential breakout here, maybe a little consolidation. In this case, we got a tiny consolidation. But then we're watching this zone. I drew this a few days ago. This zone is the area we're looking for. Why? Because we have the horizontal line from this. We also have the descending resistance line from this. This is exactly where we're at right now. This is looking good. If we get a dip here, especially I would say about 361, that would be a screaming buy for me because of these previous range highs and there's overwhelming bullishness. If this flags here, great. I will be watching the breakout of this potential rejection at 428, another buy opportunity back down here when it retests. But things are looking good. Aerodrome also making some moves. Everything's making moves. We talked about this descending resistance. Look at this. Descending resistance while the money flow is coming out, but it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's actually attacking back towards the zero line. And this is at the same time, we had an inverted head and shoulders here. We had a sort of inverted head and shoulders setup here, and the money flow, boom, flip positive, really strongly positive right here. And what we get, push out, break, confirmation, launch. Now we got some more work to do on Aerodrome, and that is this area right here, it's actually like this. So, okay, so descending resistance, new one. And look, we've broken out of it. We're currently retesting it. Now we have a descending angled resistance with a horizontal level we've already had here, intersecting right at this point right here. Right here. There's an intersection of two different lines crossing, and the price action broke out. And what do we talk about in bull trends? We want to see rise, retest, continuation. Now, if this is able to hold here, then you're going to want to look for, about right here as the price does bounce. What does the money flow say? What does the RSI say? What do the signals say in conjunction with the price action? That is how you get alpha. Everybody looks at the price, it's pumping, I should buy. No, mofo. When it's pumping, maybe you miss the move. If it's pumping, look for a break of a key level like we're seeing right here. Look for a retest of that level. And then on the bounce of that level, look to see if you have agreeing signals, like is money flow pouring in as price is pushing back? Is RSI maintaining above the 50 line, which you can see the number here on the right, above the 50 line? Is it looking like it's bouncing? Is it looking strong? Or are you pushing up, seeing a very strong bearish divergence and money flow pouring out? And you're saying it's going to go higher. No, it's not. You're about to get wrecked. Look at the data in relationship to the price action. The price itself is somewhat irrelevant. Look at the chart structure in addition to the data structure. That's how you get your signal. Now, got a couple more I want to look at before we go. Solana, absolutely starting to make those moves that we talked about only a few days ago. We had this drawn out. Look at this. I mean, I did not add anything today. We're looking at this together the first time. Where did it go? Boom, pushed up. Where? Right into the zone that we've had marked out for months. It's as if I know what I'm doing. Golly, I hope some of you guys are learning from some of the things that we're doing here, because I've been breaking down some alpha, and there's some wrong calls here and there, but it has overwhelmingly been on the right side of the navigating these assets, because I'm not a slave to the price being good or bad or right or wrong. Who cares about the price of any asset? It's just a data point. Look at the price structure on the chart in relationship to the data that is underlying, giving you front-running signals about strength and weakness. If price is pushing up and you look down and money is coming out, signaling that the bulls are starting to lose their confidence and there's starting to be some hedging going on. You can use this data to your advantage. In this case, we've broken out of this descending broadening wedge. We pushed up into this horizontal resistance right here. If this does get a little bit of a rejection, it's not the end of the world. I'll be looking for 159 as a pullback. Why? Because this is previous range high. I'd be looking right here and then the next move. But what we're really watching for on Solana, guys, what we're really watching for on Solana is this level right here, this bright color that goes all the way back to 2021, I believe. 2021. Look at this level right here. Rejection, 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 support, rejection. And this is that next leg we're looking at, which is right up in here. This is going to be monstrous. When Solana is able to recapture 177, then we're looking for the next move up here into the mid 220s. Then it's going to be so gosh darn exciting, everybody. And then we got to look at our doggy. How many of you out there have been looking at the dog charts with me? Dog on Bitcoin just got listed on Kraken. It wasn't paid listing like every other token out there. No, the community is so rabid. The community is so positive. The community is so loud that and active and engaged that Kraken said, okay, we'll list the token because you got a great community and they're going to make money on the back end from trading volume and people get it. But it's a community token. So what do we see? We have a move that's happened from the bottom here, up 475%. Boom. We got a pullback. Oh man, that's it. It's breaking down. But what did it do? It broke down into a bullish broadening wedge here. Okay, here's the listing. This is a run up into the Kraken listing, but it failed. Well, every listing I've seen of any token in the last 4 years, when they get listed, this is what they do. A coin gets listed and it goes like this. Goes straight down because there's team tokens, there's investor tokens, there's all this, and they just dump the price because they set the value too high and everybody offloads to exit to get money. The difference with Dog, and this is why I get behind Dog, there are no team tokens. There was no private allocations. There's no secret VC investors. It was everybody that was participating in the rune stones, the rune stones last year. If you had gotten a rune stone, they did an airdrop to everybody that had a rune stone. Okay, that's how it was distributed, evenly, fairly, freely. So now what happens is this is literally 100% community token. So when I see this and understand that the world is waking up to Dog, and you see people like Mark Yusko, who's a hedge fund manager, and Crypto Capital Venture, Dan Gambardello, and major players out there, I mean, speaking very positively about this, and there's no paid KOLs. I'm not sponsored by Dog, and there's no team tokens, and every token is out. You don't have to worry about inflation and emissions and, unlocks. So no, this is the best token out there outside of Bitcoin. Dog is the best token out there outside of Bitcoin. I stand by that. The only other thing that's tied with it, I would say, is Chainlink. And then everything else is a close second that I really like BitTensor and some of these other ones. But Bitcoin and Dog. And what is Dog? Dog is on Bitcoin. So what do we see? We got the next legs. We're looking to make these moves up here into the 006 and then up here into 10 cents. And then well beyond that, I think Dog is going to absolutely moon because this has been an incredibly bullish structure. And we look at this, let's go to the daily. We look at this with the RSI. The RSI is now, look, broken back above the 50 line. I love to see it. It's now found support on the 50 line. We have, the angled up strength coming in. Money flow flipped positive here, meaning capital coming in, and it's just getting started. You got OKX talking about Dog. You got Bybit talking about Dog. You got Kraken talking about potentially putting Dog on the back of their Formula One race car. Guys, and it's just getting started. So I'm super bullish on this. It's the most playful play in crypto, but it also has the best tokenomics. Regardless of if it's a meme or not, it's got the best tokenomics because it doesn't have all the paid pump and dump nonsense. So I'm super stoked on this. Now we also got, let's look at Ethereum, guys. Ethereum back above. Look, it cleared the 2852. Again, we're looking for these targets up here in the 3300s and then 3900 and then moonshot. Ondo also absolute rippage. Look at this downtrend, falling channel. We got the money flow. Look, angling back to the upside, now expanding, capital coming in. RSI, look, being held hostage. You can't, it's so regular. Look at this, held hostage by the 50, meaning you're staying in the bearish territory. Now look, boom, broke free and money flow popped. And what do we see? We see a pop in the price action up here. We got to clear this zone. We got to clear this zone back above this dollar range before we really start making some legs to the upside. And then of course we got Morpho, money flow positive. RSI, same thing we saw in Ondo, back above the 50 line, pushing up. I would expect maybe a little bit of chop here, maybe a little sell off and then launch pad, but we're watching Morpho to get back above $1.77 and then tackling the 215 range and then onward and upward from there. But guys, gals, we got to look at SUI as well. Let's look at SUI. Boom. Okay, SUI, just making some strong strides. Boom, boom. Now look, downtrend, much like we saw in all the others. Let's go to the daily. SUI, okay, look at this. All of these were getting rejected at the 50 line. Money flow was all negative. And then boom, as the RSI and the money flow starts pouring in and the RSI pops, this also breaks out of this downtrend. It's attacking this level right here. Incredible. If this does get a sell-off, be thankful for it. Why? Because if this gets a sell-off, what does it do? It forms a head and shoulders. Now you have the shoulder, head, shoulder, right? And so now you can take this target, much like this, measure it from the neckline down to the deepest part of the head. You got to give some deep head there, and boom, the target is up here, up into the above $5. So this is looking like a setup. Even if we get the little dip there, the dips can be setups for better bullish price action. Alts dance is fun dance. That's right, baby. Shout out to you. We got Ugin Sky. We got 1, 2, let's see. I'm counting them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We only got 9, only 9 super chats, and only one of them was $5, but that's all good. Big love to each and every one of you. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. I got some stuff coming out this weekend as well. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time. Make sure you're stacking, make sure you're being smart, make sure you're learning, watching content, getting inside the Discord it's pinned in the top of the live chat. Hit the like button, subscribe, get engaged with these channels. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, wherever you're watching right now, whether it's on YouTube, X, or Rumble. I just implore you. I appreciate you. Gratitude all to you. We want to do this as a family together. Hit that follow button, show some engagement. Make sure you're subscribed to whatever platform you're watching so I can keep you in the know. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful Friday. Adios, amigos. I'll see you in the next one. Sending you over to Blockchain Basement. Adios.